Peace and blessings, beautiful soul. Today, we are talking about the key to power. The key to power. One of the most pressing questions I have for you right now is, what are you doing from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m.? What are you doing from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m.? Are you asleep? Are you hustling? Are you meditating? Are you having sex? Are you laying up in your bed, scrolling through Snapchat stories or Periscope or Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, in the dark of the night? What are you doing from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m.? Today is the time to audit who you actually are. To know beyond a shadow of a doubt your DNA. And when I say know your DNA, that goes beyond your socioeconomic status, your level of education, the color of your skin, your ethnicity, your background, your nationality, but your true DNA. What's etched on the double helix of your DNA down in your chromosomes? What did you come here to do? And if you know what you came here to do and you're not doing it, you're not achieving, you're not tapping into your true calling and purpose, today is the day. Not tomorrow, not next week, not Monday. Today is the day to audit who you actually are. Remember, the subconscious mind does exactly what the conscious mind tells it to do. So think of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like the car. It's like a car. And you're the driver. And your conscious mind, your will, is the driver. The subconscious mind is the car. You're powerless without that car. Without a car, you can't go very far, right? You can only walk but so far before you get tired, your feet hurt, you're exhausted. But in a car, you can go from coast to coast, with the right amount of fuel, with the right amount of GPS and proper guidance and direction. Your car is tuned up or what have you. You can go anywhere there are roads. And so our lives are the same way. But the problem is we have our conscious mind, the driver, trying to do everything and go to the depths and the heights that we need the subconscious mind to go to. And science has proven that every physical law of the universe has corresponding spiritual laws. Science has shown us that matter and energy are one. Even the heaviest and sturdiest materials are simply a collection of free-moving molecules, banging against each other, moving at tremendous speeds. So when you really understand the gravity of that, when you really understand that matter is energy, is matter, is the same thing, they're one and the same, that means that nothing is impossible. Do you hear me? The invisible plane of human existence, the spirit realm. And I'm not trying to go deep and kooky and scary and crazy, but the invisible plane offers the greatest challenge and the greatest hope for all of us. And I say that because all of our ideas and concepts and thoughts and emotions and you name it, it comes from a realm we can't put our finger on. Most great ideas don't come from you copying someone who copied someone who copied someone. Great ideas seem to come out of nowhere, but they come from that subconscious realm, that invisible spirit realm, if you will. And that's what I want you to start to tap into. That's what I want you to start to get more aware of. Don't confuse what you seem to be with what you really are. To the real you, the indwelling self, the observer, in the depths of your soul, nothing is impossible. If you don't take away anything else from this talk, from this short podcast, take this away. Nothing is impossible. Tweet it, Facebook it, write it on a post-it and put it and stick it right there on your rearview mirror in your car. Stick it on the mirror when you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth and wash your face. Write it somewhere you can see it every day while you're working or playing. But nothing is impossible. When you're working out, repeat that to yourself. Make that your affirmation. Make that your incantation. Nothing is impossible. And let the spiritual element rule your life, because too many of us allow the material world to rule our life, and we don't realize that everything starts and begins and gets its genesis on that invisible spirit plane. And the essence of mankind is not competition. It's creativity. So if you're made in the image of the Creator, why then aren't you utilizing your secret power? You were made in the image of the Creator. So that means, first and foremost, your purpose is to create. It's to create. Now, whether you create beauty and you create a life of splendor, or you create a life of misery and pain and stress and anguish, it's up to you. The choice is yours. In all of creation, there has never been another you. Someone may favor you or sound like you, but there can only be one you. You are unique as a snowflake. You're as unique as your fingerprint. That's why there are no two fingerprints that look alike. In the same way, there are no two you. You're the only one. And you are created unique and special and beautiful. And what that means is, for you as a special part of the universe, you were manifested here on this earth in the form you now occupy to do work that only you can do. So again, I ask you, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting for? No matter how humble your job may seem, no matter how unprepossessing your position in life, the universe has sired no other person like you. Again, they might favor you a little bit. They can even copy you. They can emulate you. They can bite your style. But they will never have your thoughts, your creativity, your swagger, your charisma. They will never have the ability to touch things and influence and leave things a certain way, the way you do. And one of the keys to power, as we talk about the key to power, one of the keys to power is this. Spend time daily in meditation, projecting your thoughts into the creative subconscious mind. And I've said it before, and it continues to be my mantra. It continues to be what I recommend and suggest, because it works. The vision boards work. Yes, they do. Vision boards work. Affirmations work. Yes, they do. Affirmations work. Incantations, they work. But meditation is the greatest. It's the greatest tool. It's the greatest key. You talk about major key, meditation, transcendental meditation is the key. And the sooner you start using it and utilizing it and allowing it to empower you and to make things to manifest and happen in your life for you, the sooner you'll be on a path to infinite power, happiness, you name it. So you have to use your thoughts so they can manifest into actuality. And you'll slowly learn to achieve your desires on the spirit plane first. That's why I say you have to get a good grasp of the spirit realm. Whatever you want to call it. You know, scientists call it something different than religious, spiritual people. And for people who are not spiritual at all, you know, they basically have made themselves their own enemy. They've gotten in their own way, which is why a lot of them are miserable, because they have no power, because they don't know how to move and shape things and manifest what they need to happen for them in their lives. So understand that if you believe in strife and misery, you experience strife and misery. If you believe in disease, you experience disease. Freedom has allowed you to establish exactly what you are today and will allow you to establish exactly what you will be tomorrow. It's established where you are right now. Your thoughts and what you believe and what you truly focus on and concentrate on, that's a result of where you are and what your life looks like today. No great man or woman has ever lived who has not risen above circumstance, literally denying the reality of lack, limitation, illness, poverty, and inferiority. Yes, those things exist, but they don't have to be a part of your reality. They don't have to be a part of your day-to-day life. And that's why the people who talk the loudest and the most about lack, how they're poor and they don't get opportunities, and the limitations placed on them, quote unquote, and how they are oppressed and how they are done wrong, they continue to experience that reality. That's why you have to be careful what you allow into your periphery, what you allow into your mind. You have to be careful with who you're listening to, what you're watching, and what you are meditating on. Because even unconsciously, you can be meditating on things that are subliminally leaked into your unconsciousness, the quiet subconscious mind within yourself. You know, subliminally, things are fed to it all the time. It never sleeps. It never sleeps. It never turns off. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, your subconscious mind is listening to every single sound and every television program you watch, every radio station you listen to, every song you listen to, every sound, every conversation. It's picking everything up. Everything that you see, everything that comes to light, everything in your field of vision is collecting it all. Whether you remember things or not, your subconscious mind has a photographic memory. How many of you know this? And so if you start to learn to move with it and work with it and finesse it, it can work for you. And some people have learned how to tap into their photographic memory. Some people have learned how to, for instance, speed reading hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books and utilizing what they've seen with their photographic memory to program themselves. And that works for them. But simply cease today to be a product of circumstance. Cease to be a product of your circumstance, because only you know your story. Only you can carry your narrative on and make that your legacy. Or you can say, yeah, I was born into a certain situation, but that is no longer my reality. And you can change your narrative. Hell, you can change your story if you want to. If you want to, who are you hurting by doing that? All you're doing is benefiting yourself. That narrative may change by merely saying, I come from kings and queens. I have the DNA of winners, of kings and queens, of merchants, of soldiers, of warriors, and continue to tell yourself that. And eventually you will believe that. And once you believe that, you will behave as though that is your reality. People lie to themselves all the time, every day. But you just have to make sure that you're lying to yourself about things that are going to empower you and give you the key to power. And money will be created in your experience too, only if you realize and know that there is abundance all about you and you accept it. Mind alone is the answer to all things, and mind need never be limited by space and time. Nothing is impossible. Again, nothing is impossible. All things are probable. Everything you can think of is probable. Yes, it's possible. You can become a millionaire, a multi-billionaire. Yes, that's possible. Whatever illness you may be dealing with, you can be completely and utterly healed and made whole from that. Yes, that is possible. You can travel the world, see whatever coast, every territory, every country you'd like to visit. That is possible. People are doing it every day. The fact that people are doing some of the things that you desire to do and they're doing it every day allows you to know that it's possible. Now, we're not saying, you can fly, although that's possible too in an airplane. But all things are possible. And everything proceeds from mind. Everything proceeds from thought. And miracles are wrought in quiet hours in still rooms when awakened souls hearken their divinity. And that's the problem. That is the problem therein. You have forgotten your divinity. Sometimes we get too educated. We get too smart. We're too intelligent. We're too book smart to remember our divinity. And this system that we live in, this matrix system, will try to siphon your divinity out of you, to encourage you to forget that you are divine. But when you tap back into the fact that you are divine and divinity lives in you and deity lives in you, and you have the same abilities and capabilities and powers to create and manifest, watch out. And there is no more paramount thing for you to do today than carefully select those thoughts that you will think, those beliefs you'll adopt, those attitudes you will take for your own, because by them you will be what you will be. You are where you are today because of the thoughts and the beliefs and the attitudes and the consciousness that you adopted 5 to 10 years ago. And so usually we notice things move in waves, just like grief comes in waves. Happiness comes in waves. I don't know too many people. I'm not saying that there aren't any, but most people are not happy. Even happy, healthy people, you're not happy all the time. It comes in waves. Sometimes you're happier than others. Just like depression. It comes in waves. You're not depressed all the time. Even if you're experiencing the clinical diagnoses of depression, you're not depressed all the time. You have your days. Some days are better than others. Same thing. And so you just have to understand that whatever you were experiencing 5 to 10 years ago, it's mentally in your consciousness. It's reflecting itself and projecting itself and manifested in your life, in your relationships, financially with where you are, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, your health. especially your health. That's one of the biggest indicators of what's going on in your consciousness. If you're experiencing a lot of illness, I can know and tell you have to deal with what's going on a spirit plane first, and heal that which is broken and diseased and not whole, imbalanced. Fix that first before you start to address the physical, because that's where it starts first. You will refuse to accept on the plane of mind any conception other than those that are in tune with good. You will think only positively, and the universe will shower you with more good than you ever dreamed. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? People, you got to hear what I'm saying to you today. I'm coming to you today. This is August of 2016. Going forward, you have to refuse to accept anything other than what is in tune for your good, financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Again, it starts on the spirit plane. You gotta understand this. And again, I'm not talking about something that I read about or heard about. I'm talking about what I am living every day for myself. Is my life perfect? Yes, it is. Some days are more perfect than others. But I'm happy. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am successful in what I do. And I've gotten here because of what I'm telling you today. I'm healthy as a horse. I've never been healthier. I don't even get sick. I may get tired. I get tired, but I don't get sick. That is because I'm in balance on a spirit level first. And I've gotten myself into a lifestyle and a plane of existence where I don't have to deal with people if I don't want to. And people who are not in alignment with my way of thinking, with the thinking and the mindset of health and wealth and happiness and affluence and power and wisdom and abundance, they are repelled by me and I am repelled by them. We may cross paths, but it won't last long because they're vibrating on such a lower level. And those who are vibrating on a higher level, I'm trying to get to their level, so I keep raising my vibration so I can get a taste of their rare air. And let me tell you something. The cynic, the person who's like, I don't believe that old bullshit she talking about. The cynic is his or her own worst enemy. Because guess what? It requires far less skill to run a wrecking company than it does to be an architect. So anybody can go shit on other people and shit on people's reality and shit on people's what's working for them, their system. But it takes a true builder. Life is all about building and destroying. That's why we learn that in the 360. The 5%ers, the nation of gods and earths will tell you. Part of your 120, your 120 degrees, your lessons about building and destroying on a thought level first. And as soon as somebody comes at you with that negativity and that cynicism, you know to get lost, bounce, because they are their own enemy. And most of those people are miserable. Most of them are broke. I don't even have to see your face. I know by the way you think and the way you speak and your attitude if you broke. Because they all have the same cynic, skeptic way of thinking. They have limitations and they allow limitations and circumstance to rule their life. And that's why they're broke and miserable and sick and starving and struggling. And they'll continue to do so. No love lost, but I just cannot remain on the same level with someone like that. Because life is too short and I want to enjoy every second of mine. The world has been built by builders. And those who destroy have no alternative other than to dwell in desolation. So that's what I'm saying to you. Have no time or space for cynics, cynicism, or skepticism. Your mind can affect inert matter. Your mind can see into the future. Do you hear me? I talk about this all the time. The people who are able to reach into the future and tell us, oh, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. She's going to do that. He's going to do this. That person's going to be elected. Good, bad, or indifferent. They've reached into the future. And the only way to have that gift and to have that ability is if you first tune up your key to power and understand that all things are possible. We've evolved into the age of the mind. How many of you know when they talked about the age of the Aquarius? The age of Aquarius is and the age of the mind. We are now in the age of the mind. When we enter the millennium, the age of Aquarius is a mental thing. That's why the thought leaders have the greatest influence. That's why the people who come up with the great ideas and learn how to execute those ideas, they're billionaires. They're rewarded handsomely because this is the age of the mind. Now, we used to live in an age where real hard grinding, nose to the grindstone type work and labor, especially when we were in the age of Taurus, the Taurian age, the bull. You saw in the Bible where they worshiped the golden calf. That was a Taurian age. And during that age, everything was about fertility. So, you had the worship of the fertility gods and Ishtar or Easter. And you had the goddesses, the fertility goddesses. And everything was about hard work and building things with your hands. We still build things with our hands. But this is the age of the mind. And I need you to get into this era, because some people are listening to people who are still in the Piscean age, and we're in the age of Aquarius, the age of the mind. So you have to tap in and tune in and fine tune your mind in order to get ahead. That's the key to power. And you have to listen all the way 27 minutes into this podcast to get that. If you don't get anything else, you could turn this off and go about your day. But how many of you know the real you is not your body? The real you is not your body. And how do I know this? I know this because guess what? You've had so many people who've had out of body experiences and actually felt themselves rise above and look down at their body unconscious or in a sleep dream state, and they're above it. And people do it all the time in lucid dreaming. And who is that being? What is that entity that rises above and can look down and see the sleeping vessel, the temple, the body sleep or unconscious? It's your subconscious mind. That's who you really are, and that's who controls the show. The world is full of people who put the power of the subconscious to beneficial work in one aspect of their lives, but they use it destructively in all other aspects of their lives. For example, they're healthy but poor. How many of you know people like that? They're healthy as shit. Team green juice, team vegan, team raw vegan, hashtag organic, hashtag paleo. They're healthy, but they're poor. They're broke. They can't scrape together $1,000 if it killed them. Or they're wealthy, but sick. How many of you know that Steve Jobs and all of his wealth, he could not cure his sickness? Because if he could, he would. He'd be here. He was a genius one of the greatest geniuses of our generation. Wealthy, but sick. How many of us know people who are creative but unhappy? Brilliant poets, brilliant inventors and artists, but miserable. Suicidal thoughts, want to blow their brains out because they're so unhappy and depressed and miserable and melancholic. How many of us know people who are powerful but unloved? Powerful, but nobody fucks with you. Nobody wants to deal with you. No love, no intimacy, no sex, no real sex, no meaningful sex. Sex with a price tag on it, maybe, but no real genuine from the heart love. So always you have these people who use the keys to power unknowingly. You're using it, you just don't realize it. And we're all guilty. So today, I challenge you to refuse to let circumstance alter your thinking. And you will see circumstance grow into the image of your thoughts. Don't allow your thinking to be governed by the conditions that surround you. I don't care what the police are doing. I don't care what the government is doing or is not doing. I don't care how unfair you feel things are or how you feel you're being treated. That is something that you don't have to be a victim of if you choose not to participate in it anymore. It can only affect you and harm you or touch you if you choose to participate. That's it. That's it. You can stand in front of a swimming pool or an ocean or a lake. But unless you get inside that body of water, you cannot get wet. And it's the same way. Until you decide to be a part of the matrix and a part of the system that is designed with poverty and lack and racism and oppression and patriarchy, it's infused with all of those things. But when you refuse to be a part of it and start to create your own reality, create your own career, create your own business, create your own relationships, how you want your relationship doesn't have to conform to what society says relationships have to look like. As crazy as this may sound, you may say, I want a relationship where I have two husbands or two wives or my husband or my wife, we have a child, but we have times where for months at a time we are together, for other months of the time I work on my craft, whatever you are into. And that could be a reality for you because there's somebody else who they want the exact same thing. And when they meet you, they're like, oh my God, this is exactly what I was looking for. I thought I was the only one. So don't ever impose limitations on your relationships, on your business, your career, your finances. The level of money you can make is untold. It's untold. But if you believe that you're only meant to be in a certain tax bracket and a certain level of wealth can come to you and nothing more, then nothing more will come to you. And so as we reach higher levels of consciousness, we take unto ourselves more perfect bodies. As we reach higher levels of consciousness, we take unto ourselves more perfect ideas. Remember, this is the age of the mind. This is an idea economy we live in. This is a generation of ideas. Again, that's why the thought leaders are most influential. So, cast off the shackles and limitations. Today, become aware that all things are possible. And the moment we say something is impossible, we make it impossible for God to manifest through us. Whether you call God Allah, Jesus, Yeshua, Krishna, Whatever you believe in, whatever you call the Most High, whatever the Most High's name is for you, whatever that entity, that energy, that force, universal spirit, whatever it looks like for you. Once you say something is impossible, you limit that entity. And so another man or woman with a greater vision and greater faith will bring it forth and allow the Most High to work through them. While you're sitting at home on the couch crying, talking about, that was my idea. I thought about that years ago. I was going to do that. Yeah, well, but you thought it was impossible. You didn't think it could happen. You didn't believe. So we learn slowly, mostly by pain, but don't allow your soul to be undeveloped. That's all I have for you folks. Remember, all things are possible. Peace and blessings, and I will see you next week.